This meeting is being recorded.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Buddies on Buddies, the show with two real life buddies talking about buddy action comedy movies. I'm Kenny Lane.
I'm Lucas Hill.
This is the Buddies on Buddies show.
But
Great.
good.
How you doing? How you doing, Lucas?
I'm good. You know, I'm pretty fed up with this inflation bullshit, you know.
I hear you, man. Gas prices too. WTF?
I know. At some point, something's got to change.
Mm-hmm. I heard credit card debts are like an all-time high now too. Like just everyone's just way in debt. Prices going insane. No one seems to give a shit. Sweet. Super.
What are you gonna do? Arrest everybody for being in credit card debt?
Right. No, you can't. So,
One of the things in my life I excelled at was I never got into credit cards. I always prided myself on I'm just not, so I don't have any credit card debt. Great. And then I tried to get a credit card. Later on, I changed my mind. Like, no, you don't have enough credit. We don't even trust you.
Yeah, it's too late at that point. You're like, yeah. I was talking to this real estate agent friend of mine this week about like, what do I need to do to start looking at houses and stuff? And she's like, well, you need like to work in the same place for at least 2 years. I said, fine. So you need to have at least 2 credit cards that you've been paying for a year or two. I was like, well, no, I paid off my credit card like a year ago that I had thousands of dollars on. I thought that was a good thing. Like she's like, no, that was bad. So I was like, what? Why? It's bad to pay off your debt and not have to worry about credit interest? You know,
Kenny, you don't get it. Okay.
Yeah,
that's why you'll never own a fucking house because you don't get it.
Right. Don't get it. You gotta always be in debt to own a house.
Exactly. Why is it so hard for fucking millennials? Plus, you need $20,000 down and all that stuff, and at least
well, in LA, you need a lot more than that. But up here, you need a bit, but like you can get something decent for I think around like 10 or something. Then you got to go through a whole bunch of shit. But anyway, no one wants to hear about the fucking real estate bullshit.
Hey, people are buddies on buddies. Our buddies, we call them buddies. They love to watch us talk about buddies cop action comedies. They love it.
Yes.
But they also like to hear some real world insight from 2 of the smartest guys around.
Yeah, and what insight do we have about anything besides I tried it? I don't know. Who knows? What the fuck? You know?
I'm an idiot, so I just figured out how something basic worked.
We give you the inside scoop how to get to that house you want.
So here's the thing with credit. It's hard and confusing.
I don't have it. I don't need it. I'm going nowhere.
Do you want to give a brief history of who we are? I'm just kidding. I think we just did that. No. That's who we are. We're 40 each now, right? You just turned 40.
Yep, 40. Yep.
And we've wasted our lives for the most part, but we've had a few chuckles along the way. I'd like to say.
Yeah, we had a few laughs. We cranked some tunes. You know, it was good.
Mm-hmm. And we've seen a lot of great movies.
Yes, we have.
Like the one we're going to review this week. Hold on. What are we do this every week. What movie are we going to be talking about this week?
This week, we're going to be talking about the 2017 Warner Brothers release, Chips, the update of the 70s TV show, written and directed by Dax Shepard and starring Dax Shepard and Michael Pena.
Before we get into that, and we got a lot to get into, actually, my note list for this was more expensive than I was expecting it to be.
Really?
Yeah, I was surprised. We'll get into that, but have you watched anything worth mentioning before we start talking about Chips?
Well, this week I finally got around to seeing Mother, that Darren Aronofsky movie.
Oh yeah, I still haven't seen it. What'd you think? It's one of those horror movies. I love Aronofsky, but I'm like, I don't want to throw Mother on right now. I'll watch The Great Escape again.
Yeah. It's like Requiem for a Dream. Like, I'm glad I watched it, and I look forward to never watching it again. And well, what's funny about it is I knew when it came out, there was like some, buzz about it stuff. So the critics thought it was great. But are you familiar with the cinema score?
I'll go no.
I'll take that as a no. So that was a thing started in the 70s where this guy started, instead of like critics, they would just interview people coming out of the movie theater when it opened, and they would give the movie the grade about what the main,
I know 100%.
Regular people.
They get
right.
Yeah, of course.
Well, movies are usually scored a little higher, because mainstream audiences aren't as big as
like the Jurassic Park movies get like A+ and shit, even though
A+, yeah. Top Gun 2 just got an A+. Well, there's only been 19 movies since the 70s that got an F. meaning every fucking person walking out of that theater fucking hated it. And Mother has the honor or dishonor of being one of those 19 movies. I can totally see why.
But it was well reviewed for the most part, right? It's already become a mild classic, and everybody's like, "Oh, you have to see it. You have to see Mother."
Has it?
Yeah, cult classic, I should say. Yeah.
Well, it's
on my radar. I mean, I know it's Aronofsky.
Yeah, it does go pretty out there. As far as it being like people saying it's esoteric and stuff, I thought it was a pretty obvious like Judeo-Christian, biblical allegory, and it keeps your interest. It's never. I was never really bored. I was frustrated with it because it's basically just it's one of those movies that just keeps testing like how much shit this person can take, But I'm glad I watched it. But yeah,
I've heard a lot of comps to Rosemary's Baby.
Yeah, there's some nods there. I think one of the posters was even kind of looked like the Rosemary's Baby poster. So I can also tell that Aronofsky wrote it in 5 days. It does seem very just like blah, and then it's done. So,
all right.
How about you? Oh, one other movie I saw, an old Western I wanted to recommend to you because I think you'd like it. It's called Winchester 73. Ever heard of it?
I believe I've seen it, but I've seen a lot of Westerns and they all meld into one at my old age.
They all meld into one. Yeah. Well, I'm just getting to the point where I can tell a good.
Is that Stewart?
Jimmy Stewart. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Jimmy Stewart. Yeah, definitely. So.
Yeah. I'm just now getting to the point where I can tell a good 1950s Western from a bad 1950s Western. These all used to be the same shit to me for a long time, but I really like that one. Well, you probably see it, but it's basically like it's almost like an anthology movie where this gun, this Winchester 73 gets kind of passed from person to person, and the story kind of follows each person. So I like that. That was a really well-made little movie.
I don't remember that. I'll have to see it. It reminds me of that movie $20 with Brendan Fraser. Remember that indie gem where it follows?
Who doesn't? Who doesn't? Who can forget $20? I think is what it was called. Yeah.
Not worth checking out. Real quick, because then I want to get into the big movie we both watched, not called Chips. But I rewatched Open Range, which I haven't seen since it was like around. Yeah. Really enjoyed the rewatch. Talk about it holds up really well. Shot really well.
Okay.
Very good Western. Duvall and Costner, and Duvall's amazing in it naturally.
Yeah.
Highly suggested if you like especially very expensive, well-shot Westerns that they just don't make in Hollywood anymore. Yeah. It's really worth the rewatch. It was way better than I thought it would be. And
well, it's kind of like
novel, you can kind of tell. I don't know. It's really good.
Yeah, well, I guess people thought it was kind of underwhelming when it came out because like Costner's, Dances with Wolves and all this stuff, and
it's a tight story shot on an epic scale, but it's not an epic story. It's called Open Range, but it takes place mostly in one town, and it's not a very intense story. And what I mean by that is you've seen it before. They come in. And they're out of towners, and the locals have a power structure. They start giving them shit, and that's the story. It's done it countless times.
Right?
It's done very, very well here, and I highly suggest.
It's not very plot heavy. Yeah.
No, not at all. It's not an intricate storyline weaving together. It's not some grand adventure or anything like that. Yeah. Whereas the way it's shot and the way it's sold, I could see you go Open Range. Ooh, we're on for a ride. Like, aren't they going to move on from this fucking town? No, that's. But beyond that, we both saw a movie, a big one in theaters.
Yeah.
Top Gun Maverick.
Top Gun Maverick. Yes, it's rare that we both saw the same kind of movie over the same week, the same big movie. The last one was The Batman, I think, back in like March or something. So we talked about it a little bit, I think, last weekend when we saw it, but let's do it again. So what'd you think?
I didn't like it as much as everybody else, but I still enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's basically that's kind of where I'm at with it. Like I thought it was fun, probably the best like Top Gun 2 they could have made 36 years later. Everyone going absolutely apeshit over it. Like the Batman, I was like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? Like this is a very okay, good, whatever, like sequel. It's pretty down the middle, straightforward, like, I won't even say like by the numbers movie, and nothing really blew me away about it, but people love it, so whatever.
I still enjoyed it very much, but I think it is that everybody's so gaga over it, critics and audiences alike, then I form an expectation because, despite all my accolades and everything, I'm only human, Kenny. I'm a human being.
Right, yeah.
I get affected by some of that. My hive is a buzz with interest over this piece of thing, and I go over there and it's It's not much. What do we guys get back to work?
Yeah, it's just like, well, I think there's with these like kind of fan service checklist movies, everybody just goes nuts over them, like the opening weekend, and like like the last Ghostbusters movie. There's guys on Facebook my age going like, I've been crying for 3 days. I took my son 4 times. Like your son was probably like, what the fuck are you talking about? Because this movie's fucking lame. And they're almost, I feel like they're forgotten like a week later because they're so kind of empty. They're just, doing little like, here, look at this. Ah, it's over. Yay.
Yeah. I mean, I enjoy the Top Gun movie. The flight stuff, amazing. But honestly, you could have done the green screen. I wouldn't have known the difference.
Yeah, I wouldn't have cared.
But knowing that it wasn't, it's really cool. And
yeah.
Hey, I'm a big Tom Cruise guy. You know that. I did not dislike the movie, but it wasn't like, oh, fucking, what is everybody freaking out about? I don't get it.
Well, what's with the whole like Tom Cruise is back, baby? Like, when did he leave? Like the last Mission Impossible movie did fucking great. You said another Mission Impossible movie is going to come out and do a shit ton.
One misstep in The Mummy. That's it. Ever since he's batting near close to 1,000 as a movie star can bat.
I think The Mummy and Rock of Ages were kind of around the same time.
Rock of Ages wasn't him though. That was ensemble.
Yeah, it's an ensemble. Yeah, it's an ensemble. But still, it's like other than that, like he pretty much hits a home run every goddamn time.
Right.
So,
if not,
like,
it's always a solid double or triple. It's
like the Jack Reacher or something or whatever, So yeah, I don't know what this whole everyone's like. Yeah, Tom Cruise is back, baby. Like, well, he's 60. He's had a 40-year career of kicking ass. Like, he's got $1 jillion. He's like way up there in Scientology. Like, he's not an underdog. Like,
We got 2 big Mission Impossible movies coming out already next summer.
Right.
That are poised to be gangbusters.
Yeah, it's like, thank God Tom Cruise is going to be okay. Yeah, he was never not okay. Like,
he lives in a fucking mansion in the most in the middle of Beverly Hills with armed security and gates and at least he used to. I don't know where he lives now. I doubt it's an apartment in West Hollywood though.
No. And even the title of the movie, Top Gun Maverick, as it's the first fucking movie, wasn't about Maverick. He wasn't like the main character. It's like, oh, this time it's about Maverick. Oh, great.
Well, I guess the first draft of the script, he was just a small character, and they were probably like, he was like, just make it a little more me-centric. Look, you only have one run. If you're at the top of your game and you're a movie star of this caliber, I would be that way too. Nah, just star in it. Nah, just be me. Yeah, we'll make Miles Teller and then not develop his character at all. How's that sound?
In Rooster?
Slap a mustache on him.
Yeah, they're dynamic too. I didn't understand that. Like, why? Like, I was just like, get the fuck over Goose dying. It's been 36 goddamn years, and what are you doing, sabotaging this guy's? I don't know. I fucking hated this movie. Fuck Top Gun Maverick.
Dude, if you died 36 years ago, if you died when I was 4 years old, I'd be over it. I'm sorry. I certainly wouldn't be hanging out with your son.
I wouldn't blame you. I'd be like, what, you're still fucking, working on airplanes and looking at my picture and being like, God damn, Kenny, my best bud.
I go to the bathroom every morning, have your pictures all over my walls.
Yeah. What the hell? Get the fuck over it.
Well, leave my son alone. Leave my son alone, you freak.
This is like pathological. But anyway, okay.
Let's talk chips.
Chips, yes.
You get to do the plot this time. I did it last time, and then you redid mine. So I'll just let you just do it by yourself, like a gentleman.
Oh, okay, thanks. Well, there's a group of motorcycle, I want to say like gang team or something, knocking over armed cars and, doing all kinds of heists around town, and they don't know who it is, and they assign an FBI agent to go undercover. That's Michael Pena, to pose as like it's the California Highway Patrol, the CHIPS, the cops on motorcycles on the highway. He's teamed up with a rookie X Games motorcycle star, but played by Dax Shepard, and they team up to go crack the case and bring the guys down. And that's the update of the 1970s TV show. Did you ever watch the 1970s TV show?
As much as anybody from my generation, I definitely saw parts of it, and my dad was watching an episode, or was on during the daytime, or Nick at Night, or some bullshit. I never sat down and got invested in any of that bullshit. I know it mostly from the cameos of Eric Estrada in modern movies and everything. Who's that guy? He's from Chips. Oh, that Chips guy keeps popping up.
Right.
That's about the extent of it. I have no nostalgia, love for Chips. Eric Estrada looks the same. He's looked the same ever since I've been alive.
Right. Yeah, I remember it being on as a kid because it was just one of those shows that was reran a lot as a kid, but I never really sat down and watched it. It was like, played during the daytime on TBS or something, all the time. So I did going into it. I didn't have any like love for the show. It is one of those. There's kind of a subgenre of these kind of, they take an old 70s show and they kind of spoof it, turn it into like a big comedy, even though the show Chips wasn't a comedy, like Starsky and Hutch, that movie, or they did like Dukes of Hazzard. That wasn't, Dukes of Hazzard really isn't a comedy. And then
only really done successfully with 21 Jump Street.
Yeah, that's like the one time, and they kept, that was the big critique of this movie when it came out, was that it was, well, it's no 21 Jump Street, but anyway, what did you think of the movie overall?
A lot of issues with it, but more pros than I was expecting. I was expecting a complete train wreck or motorcycle wreck. I was surprised. I'll get into the pros first. I really liked how bright it was. You rarely see LA movies that are like bright and shiny. It was even brighter than Showtime, which was a pretty bright movie. I like bright movies.
Yeah.
I like to see the action in the daytime. It's fun. It's unique. I don't.
You like sunshine.
I like the sun. Why do you think I'm in Southern California? I love this stuff. Eat it up. Vitamin D is great for you.
Yeah.
The action was actually shot really well. I enjoyed a lot of the action. I'm an action guy. I wish there was more set pieces, but the motorcycle stunt work, all that stuff was just handled really well and shot well. They did a lot of over the, like almost drone shots over the motorcycle scenes, which was really cool and unique. So for all, that was all pretty impressive. I thought I was impressed, especially for Hollywood said, Dax, do something for us. You need to make Chips. And for him to do the action so well, I was really impressed by it. If I ever saw him in real life, I would tell him. So
yeah.
I don't have a lot more, many more pros. Yeah.
Well, okay. Well, I'm pretty much in agreement with you there. Like, I was not looking forward to this movie at all. Because I don't like those wink up, like, comedic updates of old TV shows. I just think they're fucking lame, and they always have a cameo by like the original star to make everyone know that they're in on the joke too, and stuff like that. But I was surprised. Yeah, the action was really pretty well done. Like you said, with the sunshine, like most of the movie takes place outside on the highway. I kind of like that aspect of it. I thought the jokes were pretty hit or miss. Like, I mean, it's so much lowbrow humor coming at you constantly, but I was actually a little surprised at how much I didn't dislike this movie.
What jokes hit for you? For the life of me.
Not many, but I wrote some down if you'd like. The first one I laughed at was the Ed Begley Jr. flying down the highway to Rosanna by Toto. Yeah. It's not even really a joke. It's just he's just hauling ass.
Put Ed Begley Jr. in a movie and I'm going to like it. Do him working out of hype. I'm going to like it even more. So yeah, sure.
Well, just that GoPro, when you see how fast I thought that was kind of neat.
Oh yeah, driving through that was great.
Well, he's going really fucking fast listening to Rosanna on the 405, and I was like, God damn, I wish I could do that. And so that was my first kind of chuckle. I think that Dax Shepard does an excellent pratfall. That's like top pratfalls I've seen ever. I mean,
which pratfall? I don't remember which one.
When he's getting out of the car, just eats shit. That was I'll send it to you. Keep watching it.
I'm going to rewatch it. I'm going to rewatch it this weekend anyway.
Oh, great. And then another one, like them pouting after they cut out of the gym. If they tried to intimidate Vincent D'Onofrio and it just didn't work, so they just walk out slowly pouting. And that was pretty kind of funny, kind of clever. But most of it was just really lowbrow, gay panic jokes, sex jokes. It was.
Let's see. Hold on. I have a list.
Yeah.
Extremely lowbrow. Lots of dick, homophobe, adultery, masturbation, and toilet humor. And it objectifies women like crazy.
Yes. Don't forget ass eating, that they do a callback like 3 times.
Jesus Christ. What are you, a 12-year-old Redditor commenter? It's not funny. Yeah. It hasn't been funny. It wasn't funny then. It was already tired.
Doesn't that close out the movie too? Like, he eats her ass, and like the credits roll or something like that.
Oh yeah, real cutting edge stuff there. Yeah, the humor really lets this movie down because it's not funny at all. Dax Shepard's charming enough.
Yeah,
I like what is it?
Michael Pena
Report with Michael Pena. Isn't he fucking hilarious?
Yeah, he's in that. He's funny in that. He's funny in Ant-Man too.
Yeah, he's a funny guy. They just didn't work. And their connection happened. It's forced, and then all of a sudden they're best friends.
Yeah, and he tells him he's an FBI agent out of nowhere, and
yeah, it's like, what are you doing?
Why?
Like, you're an FBI agent,
Yeah.
you fucking idiot. Even in this stupid movie, it was like, whoa,
Yeah.
whoa, you're crazy.
Yeah, at first I was like the first 5 minutes or so, I was like, uh-oh, like because like or 10 minutes or whatever, because I thought both of them were pretty badly miscast, even though it is Dax Shepard's movie. I just like I don't know about these guys. And Michael Pena, they're both supposed to be kind of ladies' man. Like ladies keep throwing themselves at them. And I'm sure in real life, like of course Dax Shepard's married to Kristen Bell, and you know Michael Pena. I'm sure he has beautiful women. He's an excellent celebrity golfer too, by the way, Michael Pena. But anyway, like I didn't, but on screen, I just don't believe these women are just constantly just like throwing themselves at them. You know?
Yeah, it's not really established why they would do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you can have a guy who or character who speaks really well with women or has a way about him. He's intoxicating. You have to sell it. Not just women are trying to sexing him after meeting him once, and it's very confusing.
You get why women are throwing themselves at Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man. Like, well, he's Tony Stark. Yeah. He's Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark. That makes sense. But yeah, just these kind of weird, I don't know, off-putting dude. I don't know.
I'm just going to go through the notes. We don't need a lot of structure for Chips. Look, we don't ever need a lot of structure.
Did you fast and loose like the movie? Yeah.
Did you notice the super old cop in the background?
There was a couple. It cut to him a couple times. I was thought, well, there's a few times where like the movie, you know, it was like cuts to, like when the you know, how should I say this? The homely girl comes out of Michael, you know, Pena's apartment, and they make out a little bit, and then that's the joke. It's like she's not hot. So was that like supposed to be a joke? Like, look, he's old. You know, there's a lot of that kind of stuff in there. Yeah.
And even that joke with the homely woman. That was where the movie was starting to slip into some interesting territory where he's like, she's an 8, she's interesting. But then later they undercut that all because he gets sexted by the older chief of police who has a fucking 9 out of 10 body for her age.
And he's like,
so much.
But she's old.
Phone in the in the fire.
Yeah, but she's old though. That's the God.
He as he's already displayed, like he respects women for who they are and rates them. It doesn't make any sense.
There's no consistency when you can throw in a ageism joke. You know,
there's so many ages, and also Dax Shepard isn't that old. So everybody's called him like old man and all this stuff.
Well, he's like 45 or something. I think he was like 42 when he made it.
But he still looks like you know, early 30s surfer. You know, he's still aging like a movie star. So none of those ageist jokes land against him.
Yeah.
What else? What's with the home smelling bit? He's like, I don't like to go in homes. They have all these different smells. What the fuck does that mean?
Just a reoccurring bit where so you walk in. Some people have that, like when you walk into a home, because every home smells kind of different, or some smell kind of weird. So what if someone just like passed out, or you could do some cat farting jokes. You said some litter box jokes. You know, that's what they were going for. And also they're going to go to a lot of homes. So we could keep a reoccurring joke here. You know,
I've been into a lot of homes in my life. Grew up in suburbia. They do each have their own unique smell, but that joke doesn't. That seemed to me
didn't land elitist
or something. Oh, you don't know how to make it. What the fuck does it even mean? I'm sorry, it's not a joke. It's not even a joke.
What is that?
The fucking home smelling joke. I hate it. Anyway, I'll move on. I won't get deeper down. Dex's character, whatever the fuck his name is, I don't even know. His whole thing is about his wife over and over and over again, trying to get his wife back.
Yeah, and she's clearly a monster. Yeah. She's so one-dimensional. Yeah.
It's so one-dimensional. And some of this movie is grounded in reality. That's something out of a very, very broad comedy that you abandon after the first 10 pages or 10 minutes. You don't keep coming back to it.
Well, he had to have a decent enough part for his real-life wife, so she had to be like the damsel in distress. But no, her character is... the one time I laughed, it was like kind of just like a shock laugh when she's a swimmer and she's swimming in this, you know, doing laps in a pool, and you see this guy walking like his boots like next to the pool, and then he shoots her with a stun gun. I thought that was Dax Shepard's character for a second. And I was like, holy shit, well, she's gonna drown. And then I realized that was the bad guy. I thought for some reason I thought that like he's finally, you know,
he's finally going to kill his wife.
Yeah.
To his credit, he made his wife look fantastic. Kristen Bell's never looked so good.
Yeah.
so homophobic. Yeah, great cast. Because of his experience in Hollywood and Christian Bale's as well, he was able to fill this with a really great cast. A lot of supporting characters, a lot of cameos. The guy from The Wire. I mean, I know it's a big movie and they were probably able to pay these guys with still a very good cast.
Well, it's not that big of a movie. If you believe the budget for 25, 26, whatever million that's a very low budget for this kind of movie that's going to play in like thousands of theaters. Like we said, we talked sometimes about studios going to fudge the numbers. That's a really low budget for this type of movie.
But it was R-rated.
That's true. And I mean, I guess one of the executives at Warner Brothers, I don't know if you heard about how the movie came about and stuff, like Dak Shepard, he made this movie called Hit and Run a couple years before that one of the Warner Brothers executives saw and liked, and he brought him in for a meeting. And Dak Shepard just wanted to do a movie about motorcycles. He's a big motorcycle enthusiast, but he knew they'd never go for like an original story. So he knew they were just interested in IPs. So he just looked through their IPs, and then he said, oh, they own chips. I'm going to pitch that. And they went for it, which was smart on his part,
Not smart on their part.
No, not smart on their part.
Just commercially speaking.
Yeah.
All the motorcycle jargon is great. Even not even just like the stunts and everything. The way they talk about motorcycle, he obviously knows his stuff, or at least really well researched it, because I think it's important to know that stuff and elevate the material.
Yeah.
I doubt the Chip Show did any of that.
No, I don't know. Like I said, I haven't really seen the show. It just seems like a very standard kind of police procedural kind of thing from the 70s. I was kind of happy with like the level of R-rated like violence and stuff, because a lot of times these are like PG-13.
Yeah, the decapitation and everything.
Yeah, where the villains pose no real threat. They're not very threatening. So I kind of like that he went the R-rated route with it, because the show Chips he probably didn't need to, but he just decided to go for it.
I really hated the antagonist motivation, especially when it's introduced like, my son's on heroin, so I have to rob these places to get out of town or some shit.
What was that his motivation? I thought he would just want to get money and just leave.
No, he said
like, he had the whole...
my son is on heroin, so I need money to get out of town. But
wow,
your organization, what you've created, is a multi-million-dollar. I don't know. It's so dumb.
I don't know. Well, and as far as like the number one cliche in movies, I can't fucking believe they still do, is the talking villain. He has the gun on them. He can just pull the trigger, but no, he has to tell them, why he did it, or, I hope you burn in hell or whatever. I just can't believe that's still in movies. Like the slow clap, like someone finally pointed out in some movie, like the slow clap is cliche. So you never saw a slow clap after that. Like the talking villain just will never die. They just keep using that over and over again.
It's just probably just so easy, and the average audience member doesn't give a shit. They probably just want their action or their comedy and get the fuck out.
Right.
Sometimes every movie doesn't need nuance, especially a movie like Chips. So that one didn't bother me this time.
Yeah.
What did bother me is the redheaded, overly flamboyant gay cop that shows up a couple times
for no reason.
What is going on? Is this Police Academy?
I guess so.
This is made in 2017. What the fuck? Whose idea?
This seems like it should come out like 2005 or something. It just doesn't seem
earlier
like,
than that. I don't know.
Well, again, at the height of like those, like I said, Starsky and Hutch, Ben Stiller, Jack Black type things or something, or Will Ferrell. But yeah, I don't know. You probably won't like this, but biggest compliment I could probably give it, or maybe not compliment, maybe an insult, but it's like it did feel like if when we wrote our screenplay, something, if we would have gotten the property or the IP or assignment to write a Chips movie, I could see us writing something very similar to this 15 years ago.
Here's the thing: ours would have been way worse because the plot would have been confusing.
If the tone would have been all over the fucking place.
Right.
There would have been like cartoon scenes and all this other shit that we didn't know you're not supposed to do.
I will say this: even though it would have been worse than a horribly crafted movie, it would have been more memorable because people would be like, the fuck was that?
What was that? Well, I mean, people are saying, what the fuck was that about this? The few people actually saw it. I don't know if you know, like Eric Estrada, he liked it because he was, set up, like he has a cameo in it. Of course, he's going to, promote it. Well, the funny thing is too, when I worked at a lot of restaurants in LA, like Eric Estrada came in one of them. And it was that big one that and all the guys from the back who are all mostly Hispanic, like they came out to look at Michael, Eric Estrada, And a lot of like the servers kind of snickering at that. Like, we have so many big celebrities. Like, why are they all coming from the back to look at them? But you have to remember that like Chips, that show, that was like when it came out, that was like the first time like a big mainstream TV show had a Mexican in the lead role who was like a cool cop. Like, he wasn't just some sort of side character
or
drug dealer or some comic relief or something. He was like the cool cop guy. So I think there is that's part of its legacy. So it's a little bit of a shame. I think they didn't really do something do something with that, make it a little more serious or something. I'm not overly upset about it. But the other actor from Chips,
of course you're not.
Yeah, of course I'm not. But he said, so I have it. Way to go, Warner Brothers! Just ruined the brand of Chips and of the California Highway Patrol. Great choice. So he was not happy about it. That's Larry Wilcox, who was the other star of Chips back in the day.
I love that no one knows his name, but we both know Eric Estrada's name.
Estrada?
Yeah.
I did open, because I love celebrity autobiographies. I did open Eric Estrada's book once at a bookstore just to check it out. And first page, he says, "You might ask yourself, who is Eric Estrada?" that always stuck with me.
Finally, a book that speaks to me.
Yeah, well, I've been asking myself that for years. Shit.
I have one quick one of those boring Hollywood stories. This one's completely self-congratulatory.
Mm-hmm.
We were at UCB, and my wife will attest to this.
Mm-hmm.
We were Mary, my wife, and I were at UCB, and Dax Shepard and Kristen Bell come in.
Mm-hmm.
We're just in the audience. I wasn't performing or anything that night. I'm just kidding. I never did main stage at UCB. And Kristen Bell was just totally like staring, let's just say, my direction. It was like, I was like, Mary.
Oh, she's checking
Kristen
you out?
Bell is just like staring.
Just like
yeah, I think it was just I'm a big, and I had a big blonde beard then, and long hair and everything. So I think we just looked interesting, but it's a fun story.
She wanted a real man, not Dax Shepard.
Yeah, she looked over to her thin as a rail, successful father of three.
Who makes movies, doesn't make little
podcast
that shit on her husband's movies. She wants a real man like that.
True story though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anything happened with that? Oh, well, Mary was with you, so that blew it.
Get this. No, I was like, hey, Kristen, I saw you. I catch up to her in the bathrooms. Hey,
yeah.
Me.
Saw you. Yeah. Do you want to do a scene now? Improv? Maybe help you with your lines on what the hell is she on? Veronica Mars or something?
Can you put me in Veronica Mars? I can be one of the bad guys.
Yeah. Let's see what else I got here. Oh, so should I go over like what the critics said and stuff? The box office. We did
do box office first, and then critics, because we're up against it.
I think it made about worldwide. It made 26 million on a 25 million budget, which is we could figure like promotion. I don't think they promoted it too hard, but it probably lost a bunch. I also got a $6 million something tax grant from California. I really hope, because we were living there when that movie was made, that our tax dollars did not go to funding fucking this kid's movie. So, hey, they Hollywood, take your own risk. Don't take money. Don't tax me on fucking Chips.
At least send me the script first and let me know it's written directed by Dax Shepard before I can see this or know on it.
Why is my paycheck so low? Hey, Chips needs your money. You think that entertainment comes free? No, it does not.
And I had to rent it for $4 on Amazon. So
yeah, I did too. I had to rent it off of YouTube. So I was like, what the fuck? I can't even stream this movie that no one cares about anymore. So that was pretty bad. The critics, pretty much hated it. It scored 28 on Metacritic and 18 on Rotten Tomatoes. Usually Rotten Tomatoes scores higher than Metacritic. But it was pretty much one or two critics here or there. I was like, it's not that bad. And I would say, I don't think it's that bad. I had really low expectations. I thought it was pretty entertaining. Like I said,
it's probably
everything
in the upper tier of the movies we've watched while doing this.
Probably. Well, as far as action goes, as far as like there's entertaining movies that aren't like, like how long is this? When is it over?
Right.
So that could just be because it's like, a newer paced movie or whatever, but it's
slicker.
I still would not say it's, wow, go out and see it. It's worth revisiting. But it was
All
better
right.
than it was a lot better than I thought. Yeah.
What would you rate this in your action buddy comedy, whatever the fuck scale?
I'd be like 3 out of 5. If I'm being really generous, like a 3.5, just because like it was pretty entertaining. The action scenes were pretty cool. I liked even the needle drops, like the what was it? The Hour of the Dog by Nazareth. That's a good one.
A lot of big pop songs are used to the point where it's
70s.
distracting, in my opinion.
Right. Well, it's like a lot of them too. Like, do we really need Respect by Aretha Franklin to be in yet another fucking movie? It's like I like some of them. I liked some of them are just like just
I would give
don't
it
use that one anymore.
2 out of 5 as a actual movie and 3 out of 5 as an action buddy comedy because it nailed the action. Comedy wasn't good, but it was. They were mostly agreeable. The tone was.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a horrible time to spend time in that world.
Yeah. I guess it's how big your tolerance is for lowbrow, gay panic, sex, like ageism, like jokes like that. If you like that kind of stuff, you'll probably like it a lot more than But if you
and the
don't have
movie does
that,
make
you'll hate it.
It does make attempt to get ahead of that and like to comment on it, but it fails miserably, and it just is what it's.
Yeah.
Well, what are we watching
No,
next week?
Yeah.
We've texted about this. We're excited about it. What is it?
Yeah. Well, we're gonna do the new movie from this year, the Nicolas Cage movie, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, which I'm pretty excited about. I'm a big Nick Cage fan.
This is the first movie I want to see and I'm excited for out of all these movies. Like there are movies like I said earlier I like, but I've already seen them. This is the first one I haven't seen. I know nothing about. I know a little, about, but I'm excited for it. And Joe, thank you for suggesting it. I don't think we would have thought about that if you didn't. So thank you for leaving that comment. So next week, that's what we're going to tackle.
I think it's maybe a little bit more of a star vehicle than a buddy action comedy movie, but we'll see.
Joe Pascal's in it. What are you talking about? It's a Mandalorian and Nick Cage together in an action buddy comedy. You know what? You know what?
Look at the poster. Look at the poster. How big Nicolas Cage's head is on that, and how small. That's what you can tell.
He wears the helmet in the Mandalorian. They should have just put the Mandalorian's helmet on, and it would have shared Nick Cage. He's huge. Right? The Mandalorian's huge.
Nicolas Cage in, and then it's like, oh, that's other guys over there somewhere.
They've been a lot of that. You know what? Whatever. Dude.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for bending your rules to allow us to watch a decent movie for once.
Well, I try to be a martyr. So I'll be a martyr, I guess.
All right. Well,
this is not a buddy action comedy movie.
Well, I guess we'll find out because we'll watch it.
We'll find out. We'll watch it.
I didn't know that there was like a star level, a billing issue before we can determine what's a buddy action comedy movie.
Well, I think if the star completely outshines the other one, and you look at the poster, it's like this person and this person. I mean, this is basically everyone's just talking about this being a Nicolas Cage movie, and it's his big comeback movie. No one's talking about Pedro Pascal or that it's even a buddy action comedy movie.
Well, it's not his big comeback because it didn't do very well. It just did well critically.
Critics loved it. No one gave a shit though. But
yeah,
I'm still excited. I've stayed with Nick Cage through all his Redbox years, and I'm still a big fan.
We're gonna have a lot to say about it. Okay.
Yeah.
And besides, all right. Now, what did Chips teach your soul? You don't have a lot of time here, so.
It taught me that, I think gay panic and dick jokes and ageism and all that crap. I think I'm kind of over that kind of stuff. I think I've 40. It just becomes like when you were a teenager and like, how can you not find that funny? It's just like, no, it's not funny. I think I've reached that stage now.
I learned that I'm proud of Kenny for growing so much.
Ah, thanks, buddy.
You used to be a massive homophobe.